Nobody expected her to walk into the squared circle, not the daughter of one of Hollywood's most feared action icons. But when she did, the entire WWE universe froze. Under the blinding arena lights, Arissa LeBrock stood tall, fearless, intense, carrying the shadow of her father, Steven Seagal. For years, she'd been known only as the daughter of a martial arts legend, a Hollywood name whispered with mystery and controversy. But now, she was stepping into a world where name value means nothing, where only pain, sweat, and survival decide who stands tall. The crowd buzzed with disbelief. Fans in the front row shouted, "That's Seagal's daughter." Others whispered, "She won't last 5 minutes in a WWE ring." But when the bell rang, she didn't just last, she dominated. Every move felt like an echo of her father's Aikido mastery. Her counters were fluid, almost cinematic, flipping opponents with frightening ease. Within minutes, veteran stars began realizing this wasn't some celebrity cameo. This was a warrior bred for chaos. Social media lit up. "She fights like a Seagal movie come to life. This isn't wrestling. It's a martial arts massacre." Commentators tried to explain what the audience was witnessing. A Hollywood-trained athlete crossing over and rewriting the rules. Arissa wasn't here for fame. She was here to prove she didn't need her father's shadow to be seen. But behind the scenes, WWE legends weren't happy. They saw her dominance as a threat, a rookie taking too much spotlight too soon. "She's a Seagal. She's entitled," one locker room voice hissed. Another veteran muttered, "We'll teach her what wrestling really is." Yet Arissa never backed down. Each night she fought harder, cleaner, sharper. She trained like a soldier. Ice baths, dawn workouts, silence, no ego. Her focus terrified everyone. And when a legend finally confronted her in the ring, a multiple-time world champion, fans held their breath. Could she survive against someone who'd built this empire? The lights dimmed. Cameras zoomed in on her eyes. Calm, cold, unshaken. It wasn't arrogance. It was destiny. The bell rang once more. The legend smirked. Arissa bowed, and then struck first. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The first strike wasn't scripted. The first throw wasn't staged. It was real, and the legend hit the mat harder than anyone expected. The arena erupted. Commentary desks shook. Online chats exploded, and from the shadows of the backstage area, a familiar silhouette was watching, the man whose name she carried, because what happened next would change not just Arissa's career, but WWE history itself. The night after her explosive debut, Arissa LeBrock arrived backstage at Raw with that same unshakable calm. Her first win had gone viral. Tens of millions of views, fan edits comparing her suplexes to Steven Seagal's movie takedowns. But fame comes with fire, and inside the locker room, that fire was already spreading. Veteran stars muttered under their breath, "She's too green. She doesn't respect the business. She's just cashing in on her father's name." But Arissa didn't speak. She only trained, methodically, quietly, obsessively. The ring crew noticed she was always the first in the gym, last to leave. She stretched in silence, running through wrist locks and joint reversals with a precision that made even trainers nervous. Then came the first confrontation. As Arissa taped her wrists, a shadow loomed over her. Natalya Neidhart, a third-generation legend. Natalya crossed her arms, eyes locked on the rookie. "You think because your dad snapped a few necks on camera, you can come in here and run through us?" Arissa looked up slowly, her voice low but sharp. "I don't act, I fight." The room froze. That one line echoed like a gunshot. Natalya smirked, stepping closer. Then, "Prove it. Tonight, no stunt doubles, no movie lights." By the time the show went live, social media was already calling it the Hollywood blood feud. Commentators teased the matchup, the daughter of Steven Seagal versus a member of the legendary Hart family. The bell rang. Natalya charged, years of technical wrestling behind her. But Arissa moved like water, turning every grapple into an art form. 1 second, she was trapped in a headlock. The next, Natalya was flat on the mat, gasping for air. It wasn't flashy. It was surgical, cold, precise, devastating. Fans were torn, half cheering, half booing. Some saw her as an unstoppable warrior, others called her dangerous, reckless, disrespectful. When she locked in a devastating armbar, Natalya screamed. Referees rushed in, shouting for her to release. Arissa didn't. She looked into the camera, straight into millions of eyes, and whispered, "This is my world now." The sound of the bell echoed again and again. Trainers poured into the ring. Natalya's arm hung limp. Backstage, chaos erupted. WWE officials shouted, producers panicked, and then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just 2 words. "Call me." The voice on the other end was deep, controlled, unmistakable. Her father. "Arissa," Steven Seagal said, his tone calm but cold. "What you did out there, that was real." "Yes," she replied. "You heard her. She wanted a fight." A long pause. Then his words cut through the silence. "You've just declared war." That night, WWE wasn't just hosting matches. It had become a battlefield, and the legends were preparing to fight back. The next morning, social media was chaos. Clips of Arissa's cold, merciless armbar trended worldwide. Hashtags like Eker Seagal daughter and Hollywood. Goes Rogue exploded across X and Instagram. Some fans called her the future of WWE. Others called her the most dangerous woman to ever step inside the ring. But behind the scenes, there was fury. WWE's veterans, names that built the brand, gathered in a quiet locker room meeting. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and even Rhea Ripley sat in silence as Natalya's arm was wrapped in a sling. The camera flashes had faded, but the humiliation still burned. Charlotte spoke first. "She broke the code," she said. "You protect your opponent. You don't destroy them." Rhea slammed her fist into a locker. "She's not one of us. She's a Hollywood mercenary." And in that dim room, a pact was made. They wouldn't let Arissa LeBrock walk around like she owned the women's division. They'd make her pay. That night, backstage lights flickered red as Arissa arrived again. Headphones in, hood up, no entourage, no smile. But everyone could feel it. The energy had shifted. A WWE producer pulled her aside. "Management's watching you closely, kid. Don't give them a reason to pull the plug." She just smirked. "I'm not here to play it safe." The crowd roared as her music hit. That cinematic, martial arts-style theme that sent chills through the arena. But the moment she stepped through the smoke, she froze. 3 women stood waiting inside the ring. Becky, Charlotte, Rhea. A 3-on-1 confrontation. Live, unscripted, and personal. The bell never even rang. Charlotte swung first. Arissa ducked, countered with a spinning kick, but Becky grabbed her from behind, slamming her into the ropes. The crowd screamed. The commentators didn't know what to say. This isn't a match. It's an ambush. Security rushed in, but the chaos was too fast. 3 of WWE's biggest names piled on the newcomer. Fists, boots, fury. Blood dripped down her lip as she rolled to the floor, her eyes burning with something primal. And then the camera cut backstage. Steven Seagal had arrived. Black coat, stone face, sunglasses. The entire backstage froze. Producers whispered his name like he was a ghost. He walked past the guards, straight to Triple H's office. "What's your daughter doing here?" Triple H demanded. Seagal didn't blink. "She's doing what I trained her to do," he said coldly. "Defend herself, even if it means against your legends." Outside, paramedics checked on Arissa. She refused the stretcher, pushing herself up with shaking arms. Every eye in the building was on her, and she said just one sentence before walking away. "Tell them, I'm not done." The legends had struck first, But the daughter of Steven Seagal wasn't planning to fight fair anymore. The lights went dark. A single spotlight hit the ramp, and there she was, Arissa LeBrock, bruised, blood still faintly marking her cheek, holding a black duffel bag. The crowd erupted in mixed chants. Some cheered her name, others booed, but no one stayed silent. The commentators whispered, "She shouldn't even be here tonight," but somehow she is. Inside that bag wasn't gear, it was something symbolic, a message for those who had humiliated her. Arissa opened it, revealing the shredded remains of a "Respect the Business" t-shirt, the same one Natalya had given her when she joined WWE. She threw it into the crowd. The meaning was clear. She wasn't part of their system anymore. That same night, during the main event between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, the unthinkable happened. The lights cut again. Static. Silence. Then, the sound of cracking glass. The camera caught it. Arissa sliding under the ropes, stealthy as a panther. The crowd went wild, phones up, screaming, "She's here again! Arissa's back in the ring!" Charlotte turned first and caught a devastating roundhouse kick to the jaw. Becky tried to react but was trapped in an armbar within seconds. Her screams echoed as officials rushed down the ramp, but Arissa didn't let go until she wanted to. Security dragged her away as fans chanted, "Hollywood! Hollywood!" The internet exploded instantly. "This isn't wrestling anymore," one tweet read. "This is a movie, and she's the villain." Backstage, Triple H had seen enough. He stormed into the corridor as guards restrained Arissa. "You're out of control," he barked, but she just smiled through bloodied lips. "I was born in control," she replied. He suspended her on live TV indefinitely. But WWE didn't realize what they'd unleashed, because Arissa didn't go home. She went training. The next few weeks, social media filled with clips. Arissa in shadowy gyms, breaking boards, sparring with MMA fighters, even training with retired stunt coordinators from her father's old films. Fans began to whisper, "She's coming back, stronger, meaner," and then one post broke the internet. A single photo, Arissa standing outside the WWE Performance Center gate, hood over her head, captioned, "You can suspend me, but you can't stop what's coming." The photo hit 10 million views in hours. Even Seagal himself reposted it with 3 words. They asked for it. The WWE universe was divided. Half wanted her banned forever, half begged for her redemption arc. But everyone agreed on one thing. Arissa LeBrock was the story. Triple H ordered one final decision. A match that could either destroy her career or immortalize her forever. And her opponent? A legend from her father's own past. The arena lights flickered crimson. A low hum rolled through the crowd like an earthquake waiting to erupt. Then the Titantron lit up. One night only. Arissa LeBrock versus the Dragon. The Dragon, a ring name whispered with fear since the 90s. He was one of Steven Seagal's fiercest on-screen rivals. A man whose brutal martial arts style had earned him a cult following. Now, decades later, WWE had brought him back for one reason: to end the chaos Arissa had started. The crowd was electric. "This isn't just a match," one announcer said. "It's a generational war." As the Dragon made his entrance, smoke and fire surrounded him. His face was calm, his eyes cold. Then Arissa's music hit. The cinematic rumble mixed with traditional Japanese drums, echoing through the arena. The crowd went insane. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Seagal's daughter versus her father's nemesis. Live. She walked slowly to the ring, black tape around her fists. No flashy gear, no smile. This wasn't entertainment anymore. It was personal. The bell rang. The two circled. Predator and Predator. The first lockup felt like an explosion. The Dragon overpowered her, throwing her to the mat. The crowd gasped. He smirked. "You're no Steven Seagal," he muttered. Arissa's eyes darkened. She launched a spinning back kick that caught him across the chest, a perfect move straight out of her father's playbook. The sound echoed through the arena. The match turned brutal. No choreography, no mercy. Each hit landed with the crack of bone and roar of the audience. Even the commentators went silent, just letting the chaos unfold. Midway through, the dragon trapped her in a chokehold, a submission few had ever escaped. The crowd chanted, "Tap! Tap! Tap!" but she refused. Her face turned red, eyes rolled back, until suddenly she flipped the pressure, a textbook judo counter, the Seagal lock. The dragon screamed. The crowd exploded. She reversed it. She reversed it with her father's own move. She didn't stop there. Punch after punch, she unleashed years of frustration. Against the system, against the critics, against the legends who doubted her. When the referee tried to step in, she shoved him aside. Blood splattered on the mat. Fans stood on their feet. Finally, one devastating armbar ended it. The dragon tapped. The bell rang, but Arissa didn't let go. Security poured into the ring as chants of "Seagal! Seagal!" thundered through the arena. In the crowd, a single figure stood, Steven Seagal himself. Expressionless, watching, and as Arissa stared back at him, a single tear rolled down her face. Was it pride in his eyes, or disappointment? The cameras faded to black, leaving the world to wonder if Arissa had finally earned her father's respect or crossed a line that could never be undone. Backstage silence. No crowd, no music, just the sound of Arissa's boots echoing down the corridor. Her face was streaked with sweat and blood, her hands still trembling from adrenaline. The dragon had been taken to medical, but the echoes of that match were still rippling through the internet. Fans couldn't believe what they had just witnessed, one commentator said on replay, and this wasn't a wrestling match, it was a reckoning. The camera followed her through the backstage chaos until she stopped in front of a private locker room door. On it, a gold plaque, Steven Seagal. For a moment, she just stood there, breathing. Then, she knocked. The door opened slowly. Her father stood there, arms folded, expression unreadable. Behind him, a monitor replayed her victory in slow motion. Neither spoke at first. Then Seagal finally said, his voice low, "You fight like your mother." Arissa froze. No one had ever heard him talk about her mother on camera. The line hit like a punch. He stepped closer. "When I saw you in that ring, I didn't see a WWE superstar," he said. "I saw the same fire that made me unstoppable, but I also saw something else. Rage." She looked down, silent. "I didn't come here to make movies, Dad," she said quietly. "I came here to make history." Seagal studied her, then gave a slow nod. "You already have." The crowd watching on the jumbotron in the arena erupted into cheers as father and daughter finally embraced. But the peace didn't last long. Triple H appeared on screen, walking down the hallway with a security team. "Arissa," he said firmly, "you left the ring in chaos. You broke protocol. You attacked referees. You're suspended, effective immediately." The crowd booed. Social media exploded. No way. After that performance, WWE can't silence her now. Arissa stared at him, calm and defiant. "You can suspend me," she said, "but you can't stop my story." Triple H hesitated. The look in her eyes told him this wasn't over. He turned to Seagal. "Control your daughter before she destroys what's left of your name." Seagal stepped forward. "She doesn't need control," he said. "She needs an audience." The crowd in the arena went insane as Seagal raised her arm on live television. The father and daughter stood side by side, a cinematic tableau that would define wrestling history. Outside the arena, fans held homemade signs. "Seagal Bloodline." "Hollywood takes over. She earned his name." As cameras faded to black, Arissa turned to her father one last time and whispered, "Next time, I'm not stopping at legends." Seagal smirked faintly. Then make sure they survive long enough to remember you. From Hollywood Lights to WWE Bloodlines, Arissa LeBrock didn't just inherit her father's name, she redefined it. And if this was only the beginning, then wrestling's future just got a lot more dangerous. Arissa LeBrock, suspended, feared, unstoppable. Her next move? Unknown. But one thing's for sure. Every legend in WWE just felt the tremor of her rise.